Hey guys, Scott here, downtown Oakville, Sandbox Fitness. Today I'm talking to people 65 plus, aging. It's a battle, and we're gonna talk about how to win it. Hey, so I'm noticing more the older and older I get, that those around me getting older and older with me, sometimes they're putting up a fight and sometimes they're not. And I wanna be clear right now, because there's probably two people I'm talking to. There's people who aren't fighting, and I want you to fight. And then there's people who are fighting, and you're gonna be my champions, and you're gonna pass this video on to the people who maybe aren't fighting as much, but you're gonna do it in a way that tells them that you love them, and not in a way that's like, hey, get off the couch, Tubby, right? So anyhow, I have some people that I care very deeply about, and I'm seeing them not fight, and it's driving me a little bit crazy because I want them to fight. Because don't get it twisted, aging is a fight. Because the reality is once you get so far in your life and you finish having kids and doing that, and then you finish career and you know, hopefully retire or evolve, and you get to the point where you have a little more autonomy and control, and you can do a little bit more of what you want. I think some people just like settle into, like, I don't want to call it laziness, but like, I think what it really is people spend so much time, they work, and they're tired. And then I don't even think people are really that interested in this notion of retirement. I just think they're interested in this idea of taking a break after like such a long sprint that you get to the end of the finish line, and no one's gonna blame someone at the end of a marathon for sitting down. No one's gonna call them lazy, right? Like the reality is they're just gonna be tired. And so I think there's a lot of people out there who are tired, and I think there's a time for rest, but I'm trying to plant the seed of you gotta fight, because the reality is when you sit for too long, and if you convince yourself that sitting is the way to go because you spent so much time sprinting, then I'm saying maybe you're right for a little bit, maybe you're right by 65, maybe you're right by 70, but somewhere in there, you gotta get back up and you gotta start running again, you gotta start fighting again, because the reality is the longer we sit, like you've heard it said, they're saying sitting is the new cancer, right? Because when you sit and like metaphorically and in reality, you lose muscle. And guess what? Muscle is one of the most reliable correlators to life longevity. So maybe you won't come into Sandbox Fitness and work out with us, but the reality is if you don't move it, you will lose it. Because guess what? Like, people get hurt, young people get hurt, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, people get hurt, and then they're sidelined, and then maybe they need a surgery, hopefully not, but then they're sitting down. But what do you think happens to someone who's had a surgery when they're 40 years old versus someone who has a surgery when they're 80 years old? Ask the 80-year-olds, they'll tell you it's harder, and they know it's harder, and they know they have to fight more. And so what I'm saying is, figure out what fighting looks like for you, figure out what you can do and start doing. So I'm not saying you gotta get up and you gotta start running the race again, but I am saying you gotta get up and you gotta figure out what your fight looks like. So if you're not sure what that looks like, or you're not sure how to have this conversation with someone you care about, then hit me up. I'm more than happy to talk to you about this. This is something I'm very passionate about, as I care a lot, and I do think that there's not enough fighting going on, and we need to fight together. So anyhow,